Alright, MadeonRidgeway reacts, and we are back for episode 4, week number 4 of The Ultimate Fighter 31. Team Conor McGregor takes on Team Michael Chandler. For this one, we saw the matchup that we should have gotten into a few weeks ago if it wasn't for Wells getting some type of ringworm little disease on his face, so he had to get pulled from that bout and pushed back. So it was Trevor Wells taking on Timur Al-Khaliv, I believe is his last name, but he is a Dagestanian former UFC guy. He had a 2-1-1 record in the UFC before being released right around COVID time. Trevor Wells is 27, youth guy coming up, and looks to get Conor McGregor on the board with, one win in 4 weeks.
Yeah, so for episode 4, coming off of 3 straight L's, need a big performance here, and we'll get to that here in a few minutes, but...
Talk to us pre-fight, when you started kind of seeing these guys and looked at the matchup. What did you think of this matchup going into...
I definitely liked Timur more. I definitely thought he was going to win. Didn't really get a whole lot of footage on what Trevor Wells had to offer, other than he was good at grappling and ground game.
Bringing it back, we will talk about Trevor Wells and Timur, this fight, and our thoughts.
Pre-matchup thoughts.
The pre-matchup thoughts for that. So let's get into it. For the side of Team McGregor, I don't know. They're 0-3. The prospects, they just have looked outgunned. We talked about that in the last overview episode that we did last week. We talked about how we just kind of thought Team McGregor and their prospects were just overmatched, and the lack of experience in the cage has really shown for them. And going into this matchup, we kind of thought the same thing was going to happen. Timur at the catch weight that they came up with, which we will get into as this show gets underway. The catch weight that they fight at really made Timur look even bigger than Trevor Wells going into this fight, which made us even more, we're like, man, we don't think Conor guys can get this done. That's how we were kind of feeling pre-fight. But getting into that, with Timur and Trevor already making weight for this fight, they wanted to come up with a good solution for each fighter. At first, Michael Chandler wanted 144 pounds, and Team McGregor wanted it to stay at 135. Obviously, they probably weren't going to get that, but Conor trying to push for the best advantage for his guy, because the little known fact is Trevor was the smallest 135 pounder there. So obviously keeping the weight as low as it could have would only play benefit to Conor McGregor's fighter. So they pushed for that. Chandler pushed for 144, and they ended up agreeing on a catch weight of 142. Fight was fought at was 142.
That gave Timur an advantage for sure.
100%.
It was kind of weird how it all started. Initially, McGregor's team wanted it back at 135, and then Conor didn't show up that one time, and then Dana gives them a call and then says they'll do it at 142. I wonder what switched up so fast.
Right.
Maybe Dana was like, nah, you can't do that, man.
It was either...
Just because it was McGregor's guy that actually got it.
Yep. And I think he had no power in that fight, and I think Conor could have just been trolling, honestly. Either that or Dana just stepped in and was like, hey, you have to let this catch weight. Or Conor was just trolling for the cameras, and then when it came down, he was like, give him a 142 catch weight.
So, put things into fair perspective, and it went on.
With that, there wasn't really too much about the background. They kind of both had, standard upbringing. Timur was from Dagestan, obviously, with that huge wrestling background that they have there in Russia. He trained in Thailand, and he is excellent. I believe they said he had the best record in the UFC from all the guys that had been to the UFC there. It was 2-1-1. I was definitely excited. I knew I recognized this name. I didn't know why I recognized this name, but I knew that I was excited for it. So, yeah, all right, I guess the little warm-up tidbit was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Conor McGregor brought him in, and that was really interesting to see their worlds collide, and just really two completely different fighters try to come together and get these prospects some knowledge. And I think Thompson came in with a good game plan and taught him some good things, really.
Only a positive, really. Just a different style, different striking, but different style for sure.
100%. For Team Chandler, it just kind of seemed like Michael Chandler believed that Timur was just better than Wells in every aspect, and that they just kind of sharpened up on Timur's game overall, and that was kind of their strategy going into this fight. Use that experience and continue their winning ways, as they've kind of gotten used to winning over at Team Chandler. 3-0 to start.
Certainly.
All right, we'll get into the fight now. First round, honestly, Trevor Wells shocked me coming into the fight. I think that his forward pressure was surprising, and just his striking, his overall striking was, to me, it was better than Tamir's early on.
Yeah, I definitely think the first round was pretty close. I could see a reason for either to win the round. I mean, Trevor Wells was having problems with that overhand right by Tamir that was clocking him quite a bit. He just stood right in the pocket though.
Right.
He got a couple of takedowns, but they didn't really critical or impactful.
Right.
They were rather swift and quick, and the way they kind of rolled around, it went right in Wells' favor on that.
Yeah, Wells was able to roll literally right through both those takedowns.
Scramble and get
so
up.
how do you score that if you're the judges? Definitely was a close fight, and it was nice to see, as we'll kind of get into what happened, but it was nice to see for the first time in 4 fights a Team McGregor fighter actually compete and look like they had a chance in this fight. As through the first 3 fights, it wasn't
much.
2-0 decision in week 3, and then a knockout in
Finished in the first and second.
right. So definitely more promising. But first round was close. As we get into the second round, it was definitely a lot of Tamir. It looks like once Team Chandler was able to get Tamir into that corner and kind of coach him up a little bit on the things he was messing up on, he really took control of this fight. Got it to the mat with a nice takedown. Really nice smash, ground and pound for a solid 2 to 3 minutes on the ground. Really wore out Trevor Wells. And then Trevor Wells does nicely to get back up, but then
With about a minute left.
But he didn't have enough in the gas tank to kind of get those blows that he needed. He had some nice shots, fired out some nice things once he did get back up to his feet, but ultimately not enough to win. They give the fight to Tamir, and I think that he definitely deserved it. In fight number 4, Team Chandler gets the win. I think it was a good competitive fight. Wells showed promise, but ultimately Tamir just kind of like Chandler thought he was better in all the areas that Wells was good at. Tamir was better, and Tamir, he turned my head a little bit. Shocked me definitely, but ultimately lost this fight.
Well, certainly agree with you on a lot of that. The second round, Tamir pretty much controlled, just took him down with about 3-ish minutes left. Just took control. Trevor Wells had opportunities to actually get up and really try to scramble, but didn't really seize those opportunities. He had his chances in the second round. He was on the ground. There was moments he could have sprawled up, fought up, but didn't execute in those moments.
100%.
And so he was able to get up with about a minute left and didn't really throw no power shots, really. Only thing that really went well for him was the kicking game, honestly.
Yeah, he had a stiff jab in round 1. That's what I really had for him. Stiff jab that was landing really well. Seemed like Conor was trying to get him to stay in the pocket and keep that forward pressure up, which he did in round 1. He tried to in round 2, but like I said, Team Chandler got Alkalive to the corner and probably told him, like, hey, this guy's ground game isn't on your level, and take him down there and show him what's up. And that's kind of really what happened. As one takedown, and I was complaining as a Wells fan that I wanted it stood up, but really
He was
getting
busy.
smashed. He was keeping
Plenty of
busy,
action.
staying active, and really smashing Trevor Wells. So great fight, definitely the best fight in this Ultimate Fighter series so far. Unfortunately, Team McGregor falls to 0-4 with 4 fights left in this contest for Ultimate Fighter. So
4 left.
4 left. That'll do it, as it obviously a whole lot shorter than recapping 3 weeks as we just do the 1. But it was a good Ultimate Fighter week nonetheless. I think they're doing the best with what they can. It has been going on for 31 weeks, so kind of keep that in mind as you judge this show. As that's kind of what I've been doing. 31 seasons. Yeah, I keep saying 31 years, but 31 seasons. So a long ass time for sure. Long time, and
Tradition.
yeah. Glad they're keeping it going. Conor's been on here a couple times. He's definitely, let alone a household name, but he's just good. He's good TV. And I think Chandler's been good too. Chandler's coaching and his style has been good. And then with Conor, his household name, him being just the persona and the person that he is, it's good. It's been good TV so far. I like it. I'll give him that. Kurt, anything you wanted to add as we close out this?
You know what? I don't think so.
All right. Well, that'll be it. We'll see you guys as we keep the podcast coming, but we will be back with this next week to recap episode number 5 week number 5 of The Ultimate Fighter.
Number
Hope
5.
you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Deuces.